How's it going, everyone? It's the Tutor here. Halloween 2025 is nearly upon us, and I thought it'd be fun to showcase 5 different spooky commanders you can play with your friends and family this Halloween season. So when I first came up with this video idea, I was wondering, oh, what can I do? What can I do? Um, but the first thing that came across to me was this guy right here. And he's the only one that's Universes Beyond. This is, of course, Shalab, Child of Ungoliant. He is a 6-cost legendary creature, Spire Demon, with Death Touch Ward 2. Other spires you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. Whenever another creature deals damage this turn by a spire you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food artifact with 2. Sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life, and it loses all other card types. Now, I'm not sure about you. Giant spires are kind of spooky, especially Shalab right here, who is Spire Demon in the Lord of the Rings verse. So this is who I thought. If you have a different spider in mind, let me know down in the comments below, but he's the first one that I came to mind. So let's take a look at the average deck here. Of course, the most common themes are going to be Commander. And some creatures that are in this most average deck is Arasta, the Endless Web, another big spider right there, who you could also choose because it's a legendary enchantment creature. Reach, whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with a reach. I mean, how many friends of yours, don't like spiders? This is going to be terrible for them. However, it'll be a fun time, fun time. I mean, look at the brood spinner right here. Look at this goofy guy. Creature spider reach when brood or broad spinner enters surveil 2. You can spend 6 at sacrifice and create a number of 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. And then we have big spooky cards like Doomweaver. It's a 6-cost black spider horror with a reach and soulbound. As long as Doomweaver is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when this creature dies, draw cards equal to its power. So that's a very fun card. And of course, we have just Driders here, and just a couple of other spiders you can have in this deck, which is really, really fun. Always have been a big fan of just spiders in Magic the Gathering. And some sorceries, of course, you have Bushwhack. When you search your library for a basic land card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Target creature you control fights target creatures you don't control. Then you have, obviously, common cards like Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach. But then you also have cards like Spire's Food and Spire's Spawning. Spire's Food is a 3-cost sorcery. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Create a food token. So then Spire Spawning, 5-cost. Create a 1/2 green Spire creature token with a reach for each creature card in your graveyard. So those are just some cards you can include in your Shalab, Child of Ungoliant decks. And like I said, this is just going to be a quick showcase of cards you could have. So next, I thought it'd be fun to show a kind of a different kind of card. This one, of course, is going to be Massacre Girl. I don't know about you, but this card is kind of creepy with just a blade and just multiple dead bodies beyond them. And I don't think no one's really showcased this commander very much. She is a 5-cost legendary creature, human assassin with menace. When Massacre Girl enters, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. The average deck here, Aristocrats. We have this horse right here. It's an artifact creature horse. Defender, when it enters the battlefield, an opponent gains control of it. At the beginning of upkeep, each opponent creates a 1/1 white soldier creature token, pairing very well with the commander because when they die, everything gets -1/-1 except for her. Then we have Blood Artist here, and let's take a look at Clackbridge Troll, who's a 5-cost creature troll with Trample Haste. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/0/1 white goat creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap it and you gain 3 life and you draw a card. So of course, more little token things to help your commander out. Let's look at Falconwrath Noble, 4-cost creature vampire noble with flying. When Falconwrath Noble or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and gain 1 life. Just some more tempo right there. And don't forget about Massacre Worm, who is a 6-cost Phyrexian worm. When this creature enters, creatures your opponent controls get -2/-2 until end of turn. Very easy way to take down those tokens. let's take a look at Slaughter Specialist, who's a 2-cost creature vampire warrior. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 white human creature token. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Slaughter Specialist. More tempo. So let's take a look at some instants. Of course, we have cards like Dark Ritual and Defile. We also have cards like Spoils of Blood, which is a 1 cost. Put an XX black horror creature token on the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures that die this turn. Very good card when you have a bunch of cards you kill with, just not artifacts. I'm sorry, tokens. Village Rites has an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. And sorceries, of course, we have Feed the Swarm, destroy target creature or enchantment opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. So that's a quick look at the average deck for Massacre Girl, which was Aristocrats. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I mean, I'm looking forward to Lauren Eclipsed, and as part of the Lauren set, or more so just the plane of Lauren, you have the bad side of it, the Shadowmoor. And back in the day, the card of the set, not the card of the set, but the main card was actually Reaper Keen, who is as you can see, a white, blue, black, red, green scarecrow, and it looks really, really creepy. And you can do that. It can be paired with 2 mana or with white. This card's converted mana cost is 10. Other scarecrow creatures you can control get +1/+1. Whenever another scarecrow comes into play under your control, destroy target permanent. So, of course, the most common theme for this deck is scarecrows. So let's take a look at this average deck right here. Of course, we're going to see a bunch of things like shapeshifters and scarecrows, but let's look at Chainbreaker, 2-cost artifact creature scarecrow. Chainbreaker comes into play with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, and you can spend 3 to remove a -1/-1 counter from target creature. And this is also a Lauren card right there with the indicated, or the Shadowmoor card, sorry, based on the wing right there. We also have things like Fane's Skulkin, a very common creature of Shadowmoor. The artifact creature Scarecrow. Spend 2, target black creature gains Wither until end of turn. Nice. We have Field Creeper. Look, I mean, this is just a perfect Halloween deck. You can spend or pay 2 to summon him, and it's just a 2/1. And of course, you have One-Eyed Scarecrow, another artifact creature Scarecrow. Creatures with flying and your opponent's control get -1/-0. And we have Pilla-Pala, 2-cost artifact Scarecrow. Flying, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So nice mana draw right there. Or just mana dork right there. So here's just quite a few scarecrows, as you can imagine. And then in the instance, we have, your typical counter spells. You also have Double Major, who's a 2-cost instant. Copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't a legendary if the spell is legendary. Ghostly Flicker, Ghost and Spooky card, 3-cost instant. Exile 2 target artifact creatures and or lands you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. Nice. Then, of course, you have the common sorceries like Cultivate Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth, etc. So that's a look at Reaper Keen right there. Now, I'm not sure about you, but when you think of Halloween, you tend to think of some specific kind of creatures. Of course, scarecrows might come to mind, werewolves might come to mind, but of course, you can't talk about werewolves if you can talk about vampires right here. So, of course, anyone can play Edgar Markov or any other vampire commander. And I just chose Angie right here because he's not too powerful card, but he seems like a fun card. So let's take a look at the average deck. Of course, the number 1 being Madness. He's a 3-cost legendary creature, vampire, haste, discard a card, draw a card. Whenever you discard a card, if it has Madness, untap Angie. So, of course, you're going to be looking for cards with Madness. Of course, showcase right here, you have Angie's Ravager, 3 costs, creature, vampire, berserker. Ravager attacks each combat if able. Whenever he attacks, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. Pairs very well with the commander, of course. Then you have Archfiend of Spite, 7-cost creature demon with flying. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to Archfiend despite, that sorcerer's controller loses that much life until they sacrifice that many permanents, and also has Madness. Imagine these are a bunch of different Madness cards. Let's take a look at some creepy ones like Grave Scrabbler. It has Madness, but when Grave Scrabbler enters the battlefield, if its Madness cost was paid, you may return target creature card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. So a lot of creepy looking cards. Oh, we got Reckless. We have Worms in here. Trample, Madness 3. And then you have Necro Gorf, Goif? I don't know. 5 cost creature. Not even going to attempt that. Its power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards, which is very powerful for this commander. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. Awesome. That's fun. So we also have a Vampire Horror right here with Stormkirk Occultist, a 3 cost creature. Trample, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library until end of turn, you may play that card. Now, if this isn't creepy, I'm not sure what is, but Squee, Goblin, Nabob, 3 cost legendary creature Goblin. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return Squee, Goblin, Nabob from your graveyard to your hand. Creepy. And here's some instance. Of course, we have things like Chaos Warp, Dark Ritual. We also have Entomb right there, and Red Elemental Blast. You also have Psychotic Haze, which is a 4 cost instant, and it also has Madness right there. And as well as Fury Temper has Madness as well. So, like I said, you can basically choose any vampire if you'd like. I mean, Edgar Markov is, of course, a powerful one, but, you know, he is maybe a little bit too powerful. You might be playing him throughout the year, but if you're looking for a unique vampire you're not likely going to play, choose Angie right here. So, I talked a lot about just kind of common themes like scarecrows and vampires and all that jazz. However, what about like a creepy looking card? And there's a lot of creepy looking cards in Magic the Gathering. How about when I was looking for some commanders to showcase, this one popped up. Wart the Raiden Mother, who is a legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. I mean, just look at that. I mean, bones coming out or claws coming out of its nose with this little thing coming up out top. It's very, very creepy. But Wart is a 6 cost legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green Goblin Warrior creature tokens. So, of course, Spell Slinger is going to be the number 1. And then each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire, so that's why it's Spell Slinger. So we have Rasta back again. Then we have Elder Mystic, who's a mana dork. Lornar Elves, who's a mana dork. We also have Krenko, of course. You could also choose Krenko if you're just looking for a Goblin commander, but he's a little bit too powerful maybe for this kind of fun format. But let's take a look at Dual Cast Mage, 3 cost Human Wizard Flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. We also have Pinnacle Monk. Prowess, when Pinnacle Monk enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, of course, pairing well with the Spell Slinger kind of format. Then it's also a land, enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. You have Pyromancer here. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token. This spell can't be countered. Target spell can't be countered. That's awesome. That's a very fun card. And of course, you have Beast Within, for instance, and then battle him. 2 cost instant, add red to your mana pool for each creature you control. Then we have Early Harvest right here, 3 cost instant. Target player untaps all basic lands he or she controls. Nice. Thieving Song, 3 costs, you can add 5. Unexpected Windfall, 4 costs. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards and create 2 treasure tokens. And this is another creepy looking card. You see a pair of goblins. Charge them. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Befriend them. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. So here are some sorceries, of course, being the bread and butter of the deck. You have common cards like Cultivate and Farseek, like always. But then you also have cards like Dragon Fodder, which is a 2 cost sorcery. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Empty the Warrens, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Storm, so getting a little bit of synergy over with Krenko right there. Escape into the Wild's 5 cost sorcery. Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn. So I'm just kind of scrolling through these a little bit just so you can see kind of what cards are in there. Of course, these links are going to be down in the description below. So that was a quick look at 5 different spooky commanders you can play this Halloween with your friends and family. Uh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys also have different Halloween themed commanders, please let me know down in the comments below. Curious to see what you guys think about these commanders and what you guys have to showcase for decks you may be playing with your friends and family. All right, I hope you guys have a good one. Tutor out.